Pakistan's fake reserve. Beginning of Sri Lanka-like ruin? Will China now step back? Have you ever seen a house that looks grand from the outside, but its inner walls are slowly crumbling? Its foundation is hollow, yet efforts are being made to make it appear stable and secure with glowing lights and decorative curtains? Today, Pakistan's economy resembles exactly that kind of house. On the surface, reserves appear full, IMF conditions seem to be met. But the reality? A dangerous trap that could collapse everything at any moment. And it is this warning bell that has been sounded by renowned chartered accountant and public policy advisor 𝐼MF. He warns that if Pakistan does not heed this caution, it won't take long to become the next Sri Lanka. Today, we will delve deep into this topic. But before that, if you're new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe so you get notified of all our latest videos first. So let's begin today's discussion without any delay. When Pakistan's reserves crossed the IMF benchmark of $14 billion, it sparked a celebratory mood in the country. But 𝐼MF exposed the truth behind it. He clearly stated, this is not economic stability, but mere pretense. The reserves being showcased are entirely based on debt. In other words, Pakistan has borrowed money from a wealthy relative just to show its guests that it has everything, while in reality, its own pockets are empty. In fact, the situation is just as alarming as what Sri Lanka displayed before its collapse. Back then too, the government had reassured the public and global institutions that everything was under control. But in the end, the country went bankrupt. Pakistan is repeating the same mistake. Rather than implementing rescue measures, it's burning through the remaining resources and building a false castle of stability on the ashes. According to a report by Business Recorder, Pakistan's $14.5 billion in foreign currency reserves are not actual holdings but merely rollovers, deferred loan repayments disguised as reserves. Around $16 billion of it is tied to postponed debts. The State Bank has purchased $8 billion from the open market to artificially boost reserves, which has created a severe dollar shortage and led to the Pakistani rupee falling even further. So even if the government claims it has money, the ground reality says it belongs neither here nor there. 𝐼MF also said this so-called stability is not a sign of recovery, but rather a repackaged form of decline. It's the same strategy Sri Lanka used, buying time through managed exchange rates and depleting reserves under mounting international pressure, which ultimately failed. Pakistan too is offering false hope to its people through exchange controls, artificial dollar stability, and massive borrowing. The most terrifying part is that Pakistan's macroeconomic stress indicators, signals of economic crisis, are deteriorating rapidly. Manufacturing has declined to minus 1.52%. Unemployment has surged to 22%, and the poverty rate has reached a staggering 44.2%. If these figures were reported in the context of any other country, international media would likely have declared it an emergency economic failure. According to Shah, if Pakistan truly wants to change, it must stop relying permanently on the IMF and start becoming productive. His advice is clear: default, endure the pain, and become self-reliant. Because as long as you're lighting your home with borrowed money, you'll never experience true light. Now the question arises, will China, Pakistan's largest lender, step back under the burden of this growing economic crisis? In June, China gave Pakistan a $3.4 billion loan, out of which $2.1 billion was already with the State Bank, and the remaining $1.3 billion was a new rollover. In short, China too is making efforts to keep Pakistan afloat, at least to help it meet IMF benchmarks. Apart from that, there was an additional inflow of $1 billion from Middle Eastern banks and $500 million from multilateral financial institutions. But how long will this help continue? One day, China will also ask, where's the return on investment? Is CPEC really giving any returns? Or has Pakistan become just a trapped partner? This is the crossroads where Pakistan will need serious introspection. Because if one day China too pulls out, then neither the IMF, nor the US, nor the Arab nations, no one will be able to save its sinking ship. Pakistan still has time. But this is not a time for borrowing, it is a time for reform. Warnings from experts like 𝐼MF are not just financial advice, they are a mirror to the future. A mirror in which Pakistan must see itself clearly and understand that the era of showmanship is over. What the country needs now is not visible reserves backed by loans, but real production and growth. Ignoring this warning will lead Pakistan down the same path that Sri Lanka once took. There too, investors were once dazzled, but soon came riots on the streets, long queues for rations, and the collapse of governments. Pakistan is also steadily moving in that same direction. The poverty level has reached a dangerous high, foreign investment is declining, and public trust is faltering. The most alarming aspect of the entire situation is that the Pakistani government continues to portray this loan-based stability as an achievement. But any sensible citizen knows that a balance maintained through borrowing is, in fact, the greatest imbalance of all. Debt feels manageable only until the day you have to pay its price. But when that burden turns into a noose around the neck, it doesn't just put the economy at risk, it endangers the lives of common people. And Pakistan now stands at exactly such a precipice. One wrong step could plunge it into the abyss of collapse. Its relationship with China is no longer purely strategic. It is becoming a heavy economic burden. Projects like CPEC, once seen as the hope for Pakistan's development, are now entangled in a web of loan repayments and interest traps. On top of that are the stringent conditions imposed by the IMF, which demand strict economic discipline in exchange for any aid, creating further stress for the country. People like Asad Ali Shah are the voice of Pakistan's conscience, urging the nation that it is time to accept the truth. A country cannot be sustained by relying on the IMF, borrowing from China, or receiving aid from Saudi Arabia. A nation survives and thrives through production, trade, skills, and above all, honesty. So the real question isn't whether Pakistan's reserves have crossed $14 billion or not. The real question is that money truly theirs? Has it been earned? Or is it all just a facade, a performance of stability masked by debt? If Pakistan's policymakers don't ask themselves this question now, then in the next report, the phrase Sri Lanka-like situation won't be a warning, it will become reality. Because a country can only be saved when it has the courage to reform itself. Neither the IMF nor China can lift a nation that is willing to fall. Now, the decision lies with Pakistan. Will it face the truth or continue to believe it shines in borrowed light?
Something new. Do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.